today's conversation, we'll be diving a little bit deeper with 3 different roles in 3 different sports and sectors, or 2 sports in motorsport here. And we're going to really find out the challenges, the highs, the lows, and what it takes to be a high-performing athlete, specifically in motorsport, but also at the end in cycling and other sports. So to introduce our guests, next to me we have Sophia Flörsch. She is a professional racing driver. Sophia has competed in the FIA Formula 3 Championship and is recognised as the first woman to race in the FIA F3 since the championship's formation. Also raced in endurance and touring car categories as well. Then we have Finn Macpherson. I'm pronouncing that correctly, aren't I, Finn? My Scouse accent really wants to pronounce it differently. Race engineer for High Tech. Finn has engineered at the highest levels of junior single-seater racing, including Formula 3 and stepping up to Formula 2. And at the end, in a different sport, but super insightful conversations we will have, is Rhianna Parris-Smith, English international track cyclist and elite sprint athlete. Rhianna transitioned from junior athletics into track cycling and is now part of Great Britain's sprint programme. She's won a double gold at the 2023 U23 and Junior European Track Championship, won the British National Track Championship time trial in 2024, and has competed at Senior World Championship level. That was quite long, wasn't it? Breathy. Well done. You've had a fantastic career at your young age of 23. Wow, I'm only 24. I've not done that much. Okay, so first question for all of you. We'll just go in order here, starting off with Sophia, going down to Rhianna. How did your sporting careers begin, and what did those early years look like?
So, well, this is loud. Oh my gosh. So I actually started karting when I was 4 years. I don't know, over my dad. He wanted me to be a ski racer, actually, but I didn't really like it that much. So that's kind of how I got into karting. And then, similar to all of you, I guess, just spent 9 years doing it. Did first, obviously, all the German championships, which we have, or had. Now we don't have them anymore, actually. WSK, European Championships, World Championships, everything. And then when I was 14, I stepped into Ginetta Juniors here in England. So I was racing here, actually. And then Formula 4, like, most of you will do probably soon. And just did my way through it. It's been 20 years already in motorsport, so I kind of feel old looking at all of you. But that's kind of how I started. And I'm super happy to obviously still do it so much time afterwards.
Thank you. And Finn?
Hello. I'm probably got the least exciting time, I guess, or career.
Definitely not.
Maybe a little bit, maybe not for the parents, I don't know. But yeah, just went through school system, education system in engineering, and just always wanted to work in motorsport from the age of 12. Never wanted to be a driver for no real reason, to be honest, but just always wanted to work in the sport. And so went through university. I worked at a couple of different work placements, including, at the time it was called Racing Point, which is now Aston Martin F1. So I was working there. I did a little bit of work with McLaren, and then I worked for a company in sports engineering. So they were linked with GB Winter Olympics and actually cycling wind tunnel stuff. And then at High Tech, and I've been at High Tech for the last 7 years. Specifically trackside from F4 all the way up to, as Amber said, F2 in race engineering.
Thank you, Finn. Rhianna?
I just basically started as a kid, just in PE, doing sports all the time, and I always had a bike to ride around, and I did it with my dad all the time, and I basically saw a road bike and I thought that was really cool, so I said, please, Dad, can you get me a bike, please? So he got me that, and then I moved away for college, so to a sports college, and I started cycling there on the road, and then someone said, you'd probably be good at track cycling, which is like the velodrome with like the wooden slats. So I tried that, and then it took me about 3 years trying to then eventually get into the British cycling team. But that's the short story.
And we'll stay with you as you've got the microphone.
Yep.
So what was that like as a young person, getting into this sport? Because I can imagine that the training regime can be quite difficult. You're balancing social life and training and nutrition and discipline. What was that like maybe when you were a little bit younger?
Yeah, it was quite hard for me. I came into the sport quite late compared to everyone else as well. So I was like balancing, as you guys will, school, I had college, and then I had university. So I was doing a 9-to-5 job, working university and then also doing training on the side, so it was quite hard to balance everything. But it was mainly just trying to believe in yourself and knowing that you could make it, and then just sticking with it the whole way.
Same question for you, Finn, but tailored a little bit differently and specifically to you, representing big brands. Was there pressure being in those environments?
I haven't done that much forward-facing roles, I guess.
Even in your role as an engineer working
yeah.
with these teams?
No, I haven't felt too much pressure, to be honest. I try not to. I mean, it's a team sport at the end of the day, and as an engineer, you're in a team of engineers, and so you can always lean into the people around you in that sense. And I've been fortunate to have that. I've never been put out on my own in the same way that I think drivers are. So that's a challenge you have that we don't really have to deal with.
So the pressure's more on the driver than it is in the engineer?
No.
Exactly.
No, I think there's equal pressure. It's just in different ways, really.
And then Sophia, same question for you. You know, as a young person getting into motorsport, specifically as a driver, what was the challenge with the social life, work life? How did you find that?
Well, I think, oh my gosh, I think when you're younger, I mean, at least it was for me the case that I just enjoyed it. It was like a hobby, you know. I enjoyed being on karting tracks. I loved being away because I missed school, so it was amazing. You know, you have friends on the track, and you just spend a lot of time there. And if you're performing good and if you have success, it's even better. But obviously, at some point in karting as well, everything gets more serious, and you do like big championships and like international ones. And as soon as you step into cars, everything gets even bigger. When you have like media, you have sponsors, you have contracts. And when you're like 14 years old, it's a different world. And I mean, I had my parents behind me who always tried to explain everything, and they also tried to keep everything as far away as possible for me to really focus on racing. But still, you feel pressure, and probably the biggest pressure you put on yourself, because you just want to make yourself proud and happy. But it's not always easy. But as soon as you have success, and as soon as you actually see that the stuff you're working for is making sense, it's cool. And obviously, yeah, same like all of you, I also had to go to school until I was 17, and it's shit. But still, I think it's necessary, and I think you all should finish school because it's important. You never know what's happening in your life. So yeah, and on the other side, it also teaches you a lot if you have like those double programs and double pressure. So yeah, I would not change anything off that, I would say.
We were talking about school yesterday, actually, in our media training session, that, school, it's annoying. We want to be racing full time. That's the goal, isn't it? Talk to me again about the sort of different machinery that you've raced in. You've done DTM, Indy Next, various different single-seater categories, touring car, endurance racing. What is that like as a driver, stepping into different machinery all the time, and how easy is it to adapt to that? Because there'll be these drivers stepping into different cars, predominantly single-seaters. I know you had the experience in Ginettas as well. So what is that like?
I always found it really cool. I mean, obviously, I always wanted to go, like, when I was your age, I always wanted to just do the Formula route of, like, obviously karting, Formula 4, Formula 3, Formula 2, regional, or whatever is in between. And obviously, Formula 1 as the big goal. But I think at some point, you always have to look left and right a little bit and see what makes most sense with the budget you have, obviously, because that's most important. And also with the opportunities you have and which open up, you know, DTM, I always said I don't want to do touring cars, but then DTM opened up because there was a big sponsor in Germany who wanted me to do it and who paid for it. So obviously you do it because it's great time as well, and it opens up doors. Endurance, back in the days, I was 19 and I had the chance to do Le Mans for the first time. So, I mean, when you're 19 and you're able to do Le Mans in LMP2, which is actually fully funded, it's amazing. It's something everyone dreams of. So that's kind of how I got into endurance. And then also on top of that, obviously the level is really high. The car is really great. And it just teaches you a lot in your early years, I would say. So I think for everyone in here, parents and girls, you really be open-minded. Just don't be driven on one thing. Really see what makes sense for yourself and what you're enjoying as well, because I think that's most important. And yeah, just be open for everything, and even if it's GTs or prototypes or yeah, there's different things than just the normal Formula route, even if we all want to do it.
And if you enjoy it, your performance is going to be so much better in that vehicle if you have a bigger passion for it. Finn, back over to you now. What makes a driver stand out to you? As an engineer, a driver in their early career, what are the signs? What are you looking out for?
Yeah, it's not easy to answer because I don't think there's any definitive way to define a good driver. There's similar traits. As an engineer, it's just the ability to have open conversations and honesty. I think it's two ways as well. So drivers being honest with their engineers, but also engineers being allowed to be honest with the drivers. And I think shared accountability and not stepping into, I think, trying to be something or achieve something which you can't quite achieve yet. I think just recognizing that humility, and it's a process, and also you're working with people who have come from different backgrounds in teams. You're stepping into one team, moving to another the year after. They've all got things going on in their life, and drivers who can step in and I think be professional and respect they're working with adults, and yeah, try and just build that openness and trust as fast as you can is probably the most critical part.
And how important is communication with your drivers, maybe specifically when they are in the race car on the track? What can you, advice that you can give to the girls to how they can feed back that information to their engineers and their team?
Yeah, I think this is the main bit, and communication is a really broad topic. So if you're talking on the radio, I think, Sophia will know a lot. She's worked with loads of different engineers, but I think engineers will have a preference of how they want to give information to you. Drivers will have a preference of how they want to receive that information, and understanding what works in a relationship is really important for that, because it will just speed up your learning. It speeds up the team's learning. Outside of the car, it's being as clear as possible. And I think the best drivers are the ones that come in and continuously ask questions. So they're pushing the team. They're pushing me as an engineer to try and get better by asking me questions that I go, yeah, to be fair, I don't actually know the answer to that right now. And then it forces us to go away and look at something which maybe we wouldn't have. So I think that's an important part of communication, is asking us, as well as us asking you to get better. It's pushing us.
And I guess that leans into learning the mechanics of the car slightly. Would that make a driver better or have a benefit for them if they can fully understand the feeling of that car and maybe what has gone wrong, to then feedback that to their team? And then obviously it's your job to try and find, okay, how do we fix this?
Yeah, it's a really good question, actually, because some drivers know loads and it can be a real problem because they want to engineer the car themselves. And then other drivers will be completely oblivious to it, and they treat it as if it's not my problem. There's a happy medium. I think educating yourself on it is good. And the best way to do that is be hands-on and go down to your mechanics and just look around the cars and see what's going on and think, oh, why do you do it like that? Or even parents to educate yourselves around things. So asking questions around that is great. I think in your development curve, there becomes a time when you start learning more. So if you're working with F1 teams, they'll educate you more as you go, which is really important, because you guys will have seen in F1, they can do so much now, drivers on their steering wheels and things like that. And understanding that is very important when you get there, but there's no need to rush. Understand the basics and trust your engineering team to explain them to you. But yeah, you don't need to go out and mechanic a car for the next 2 weeks. I don't think that's not going to make you any quicker at the moment.
Bit excessive. There's actually, although I don't like AI, there is an AI Instagram account or TikTok account, and it sings different topics that you want to learn on the body, mechanics. It will have a whole song on the mechanics of a car. That's the best way that I learn. So that's what I listen to in my spare time. Rhianna, over to you now. So at junior level, athletes probably underestimate how much training they have to go to become a high-performing athlete. Can you paint a picture of what your training looks like?
Yeah, so when we were, Tom might be able to help me on this, 18? You can move up to Manchester when you're 18? Yeah, so when we were 18, so you had a junior programme throughout British cycling. And as a junior, from sort of 16 to 18, you were able to train from home, do your schoolwork and stuff like that. But you'd have a training program, and you'd probably be on your bike around 4 times a week, and then you're probably going in the gym about 2-3 times a week. So as a junior, from the age of like 16 to 18, you're training quite a bit. Then when you get to 18, which I know you guys aren't there yet, we're pretty much in the building 5 times a week, and then we're also back in the weekends doing something on the weekend. But what I'd say is just get used to doing a little bit of hard work as you're younger, and then it gets a little bit older when it gets a little bit better when you get older. Because that hard work is going to hit. It's going to hit at some point. So just brace yourselves for it, but also embrace it, because it's going to help you in the long run for sure.
And also on the mental training as well, because any sport requires a lot of mentality. You need to be disciplined, hardworking. That all comes from up here before it is physically. Is there any mental training that you did specifically?
I wouldn't say did anything specifically, but I always, if I went for a race, that was almost training for me, mental training, just trying to get used to it, get comfortable with it, learning what goes well for you, learning what doesn't go well for you, and learning from the mistakes, because ultimately you're not going to get better unless you make mistakes. So I think make as many mistakes as you can, obviously to a certain degree, but like make as many mistakes as you can to learn from them. Try something different, so then that works for me, that doesn't work for me. So when you get a little bit older, right, speak to the engineer, you go, this is what I need, this is what I can get the best out of the car if I do this, if you talk to me this way. So I think just take on as much as you can throughout all this process, learn as much as you can, take advice, try it. If it doesn't work, sack it off. But if it does work, keep going and keep using it, because ultimately that's just going to help you develop as a driver.
And are there any specific habits that I guess can go across all different sports that will help someone perform at, the highest level?
Yeah, so I think I'm not completely clued up, guys, but F1, I do have an interest in it. And you do kind of like reaction stuff before getting into the car. Potentially you guys do that, potentially you don't. But I see like F1 drivers like messing about with the ball or something like that, with their trainer dropping it and stuff like that. For us, I think like warming up's a massive thing as well. So potentially like looking at your warm up and see what works best for you to get your brain engaged before you get into the car and drive. And I think again, it's all just trying different things, and maybe you've got a way that works for you, but again, try a different one, because it could make you better.
And what has been the biggest challenge for you in your career, and how did you overcome that?
I'd say trying to get onto the squad. Trying to get onto British Cycling and moving up to Manchester was my hardest bit. I was trying to get onto the squad for 3 years prior to getting on, failing every year pretty much. And it was 1 year, and I just said, if I don't get on this year, I'm gonna quit. But that was me trying for 3 years to try and get on, which luckily I did manage to get on in the end. But it was just a lot of picking yourself up when things don't go right. Have a cry in the car if you need to have a cry in the car. Parents, don't be hard on them. Just say it's all right. You go again. But yeah, I think like just picking yourself up and going again. But yeah, not getting on for those 3 years and going through a bit of normal life, a bit of university, having a 9-to-5 job, kind of made you want to do it a little bit more and try and be able to see how far you can go. I think a lot of people believed in me more than I believed in myself. So what I say to you guys is just trying to back yourselves a little bit, believe in yourself and think, I can get there, and that'll definitely help a bit more.
Because that then feeds back into the mindset then, doesn't it? It's a positive mindset. You're going to get a positive performance, hopefully, out on the track. Finn, coming back over to you. Similar question, but more, has there ever been a challenge for you working with a driver, and how did you overcome that?
All the time. Every day. No, the challenge is there, because the challenge is you both want to be as quick as possible. And the way that we now engineer cars, more from, I think, Formula 3 up, is we use simulations and a lot of software base, and we can put something down on the track which on paper is really, really quick and based on physics should be the fastest way to go around, and the driver jumps in and can't drive it to those targets, and the challenge is then adapting it to what the driver needs. And I think that's common. That's what you're always working to. So yes, it's a challenge every day. It's not always a really big challenge. Some of them feel easy, but it never really is straight line.
And I do think it is good for the drivers and parents to know what the challenges can be, specifically internally between the engineers, between other team members. So it is crucial to hear what you have to say on the other side of it. Sophia, same question for you as well. What were the biggest challenges in your career and how did you overcome that?
Difficult to say, to be honest. I think there's challenges on each single race weekend, but also in general in your career. But I think in the end, it's really about seeing what's best for you, being being open for new challenges, for different challenges which you maybe didn't plan on doing, and just, I guess, at least in my case, it was the case that, like, in formulas, I was always low on budget, so finding actually the right teams, having test days on top of official test days, which I never had, but like just having different starting points compared to some other drivers, I think is the biggest challenge, because in the end you're racing against them and you get compared against them, and just being still self-believing, even though it doesn't go the way sometimes, and enjoying it, because that's also something I learned in 20 years of racing. Most important is really to enjoy it, because once you don't drive for yourself and once you drive for other people, the success doesn't come. And it's really about being in the cockpit, in the car for yourself, and trying to enjoy every single meter, because if you don't, it's not going to work out.
You do have to enjoy it. That's me in the gym. Hated the gym. Until you find something that you like and know I might eat a cake at the end of it. Talk to me about the specific challenges as well, being a female in the sport. The sport is changing. It's more accessible. It's more open. And with organisations like More Than Equal, we are really pushing forward. But have you faced any challenges, specifically being a female?
Yes.
Just a few.
Yes. I have to be honest, like, in 20 years of racing, I never had an issue with another driver because of the gender. I mean, you always, you have drivers you get along with, some you don't. But there was never an issue with another driver, which is, I think, really cool, because it just shows that athletes respect each other. And once you're quick, once you perform, there's respect. If you're not quick, I mean, there's no respect, but I think it's the same for men or for boys. It's more, I guess, just regarding media, regarding some journalists, regarding some, I would say, older people in our sport, where they just think a little bit different of women in general. It's not just about racing drivers, but in general, where you really have to go elbows out. I will never forget, I was actually your age. I was 14 and I did genetics. And my teammate's dad, we were sitting like in a golf buggy after a race, and the son was first in the championship, I was second. And I was really close about overtaking him in the championship. And he was like sitting next to me. He was the same age like my dad. And he was like, "Yeah, Sophia, why do you actually do the sport?" And I was like, well, I was 14. I was like, yeah, well, because F1 is my dream, my goal. I want to get there. And he was like, yeah, but you're a girl. You will never make it. Like, you can just stop. And I know that was like, I will never forget it, because I was 14 and I just had a big dream and a big goal, and I was enjoying my life and I enjoyed racing. But it's those things, he's told it to me like in my face, but there's other people thinking the exact same, but they just don't tell you. So it's really, be there. Parents, you need to back your kids and really be positive on them, push them, don't push them down, push them up, because it will get even harder. But as you said, there's many changes in our sport, which is great to see. And I think, you'll for sure have it easier than me or any other girl, which was before myself. So yeah, it's looking good, I would say.
It is difficult, but we are seeing it change, exactly like you said. And with these organisations like More Than Equal, looking at all the staff in here, the same question, but with media and media pressure. You have a big following on social media. There's going to be a lot of media around you at racetracks as well. How have you handled that? Or has it been quite difficult at times, I imagine?
Well, media is media. Sometimes it's nice, sometimes it's not. I think it's part of the business, and I prefer to have a lot of media than no media, because in the end, media is important to find sponsors, and it's like a spiral. But yeah, I think you need to play the game right, and sometimes you need to be a little bit mean and so on. But and also be clear. Like, if you don't want them, just tell them to leave. And also, I think parents or managers or whoever, they really need to be able to look into your face and see, like, okay, she's fine to do an interview or she's not. But yeah, I personally always try to take the advantage out of it, because I needed it. But sometimes it can also be a little bit too much. But then I think people see it in my face if they should not talk to me. So it's a give and take. Yeah.
But then I'm that annoying journalist that's like, I'm going to go get them. I'm going to run. They don't want to talk to me. I'll get a microphone and a camera and you've got nowhere to go. But it is
Yeah,
difficult. It is good. You do read drivers at times to go, if they've just had quite a difficult race, I'm probably not going to go and bother them because it might not be the best interview as well. But we are annoying sometimes as journalists and reporters. Now, this is just questions for all of you. One piece of advice you wish that you had been given at our driver's age?
Really trust your parents. I don't know, but you know, once you get into cars, there's so many people wanting something of you, and so many people outside from the world wanting to be honest, also make money with you, obviously, which is also fair and always fair enough. But I think parents are always gonna want the best for you, and I've also sometimes had to learn it the hard way. But yeah, really, dads, moms, they really want your best and believe in them. Sometimes you fight. I also had a big fights with my dad, but yeah, that's something I've learned, and I wish I would have known a little bit earlier. I know when you're 14 you don't care, but yeah, remember it.
And same question to you, Finn.
Yeah, I think it's quite. I can't really answer that. I'm not a driver, but if I look at the drivers that I've worked with who've gone on and are in Formula One now, I think what separates them from the ones who didn't make it, who maybe were on the same talent level, is they never stopped trying to learn. So no matter where they get to, they were always asking questions, and then they had the capability to take those and actually apply them. And so from your age, just never lose that learner mindset. I think it can be easy at some stage when your capability gets quite high to potentially stop asking questions and have your parents maybe stop pushing you as much as maybe they did when you were 13, 14 and you got a lot of learning still to do. But I would never let off on that. It's the one thing which we tell our drivers in F2 is that they have to be learning quicker than anyone else on the grid because track time is limited. So I think that would be the one which is just to maintain from a young age.
And Rhianna?
I'll second both of you. I'd also say just try and keep the enjoyment in it and have fun. I think you training and trying to become better, it helps if you enjoy it and have fun with it. And obviously be serious at some points, but yeah, just try and have fun and enjoy it, because at the end of the day, this is something that hopefully you want to be doing for a career, and it will really help if you enjoy it. And I think if you enjoy it, you're then able to take learnings from it, because you want to learn and get better because you're having fun doing the thing you want to do. And you're also going to be able to take a little bit of criticism from your parents, maybe, if you're having fun, because that's ultimately what we want to do at the end of the day. So yeah, hopefully keep the enjoyment in it, guys.
Well, staying on the parent theme, spotlighting the parents here, how best can parents support athletes without adding too much pressure? Because we do see that sometimes, and I have seen it at racetracks where a parent can be really loving, but they are putting a lot, and sometimes it can stress out a child. It's all dependent on who your child is, what they're like, what their personality is like. But in your opinion, how do you think is the best way parents can support?
Yeah, I think so. They're like every kid's different, every parent's different. I think be present in your child's journey. I think that's really, really crucial. And always believe in them. I think there's nothing better than your parents knowing that they're in your corner no matter what. So always back your daughter, no matter what. If they had a bad day, maybe point out their faults if you want to. If you have that relationship, maybe don't. Just give them an arm around the shoulder and just say it's going to be all right, because that's what some people just need. But I always say just make sure that you're in their corner no matter which I'm sure you all are. And I personally didn't like a pushy parents. Like if my dad tried to tell me how I did in a race or he thought he knew best, I'd kind of just try and like leave it to the side a little bit and just let him say his piece. But yeah, I just say just keep your daughters happy, guys, and then as long as they're happy, that's the main thing.
And it is different for everyone. Some people like a pushy parent because then it actually makes them take accountability and work harder. Some people like the soft approach, just leave me, let me do my own thing. Finn, the same question for you, because being around a lot of young drivers and parents, have you seen any of those situations, and what would your advice be to parents?
Yeah, it's parents can be a real ally to a team in racing, and that's ultimately what you want. And then we've worked with parents which have ultimately been holding, I think, their child from progressing back because of the impact that that they're potentially having, not directly on their child, but on the team. And that's the ways of, I think, the best parents that I have I've worked with have met us where we're at as a team. We're a professional service. We want the best for your kid. That will always be like that. First of all, is they need to be safe, and second of all, we try and get them fast, and that will never change. I think it can be easy when things aren't going well to question, and that's good. But meet us where we're at, and I think if you understand it from our point of view as well as your kid's point of view, then you're singing off the same hymn sheet as everyone, and that makes it a lot easier. I think the main thing is when we've had struggles with dealing with parents in the junior formulas is when there's been a misalignment of parents' expectations, drivers' expectations, teams, maybe assessment, and getting past that is the most important bit to then push your driver forward and let the team push your driver forward.
And Sophia, same question to you. In your own experience as well, how have you found it?
Well, I think also, having a parent there and knowing that you have someone who you can always rely on is super important, especially in bad moments, let's say, or hard times. But also, at least for myself, I always, when I was younger at least, I needed someone strict as well, or not strict, but like honest. And obviously someone who also gave me a hug when I had a shit race or so, but also telling me that I actually did shit and that I crashed. Like, and I just, because sometimes I think when you're younger, you also not lie to yourself a little bit, but like you also maybe don't have the experience and you don't see it, in the moment, you don't even realize it after maybe being to the steward's room. But that's something I always, I mean, in the moment I didn't like it, but looking back, I think it helped myself just to grow quicker and to mature and to also learn from mistakes quicker. So I think it's always a give and take. And as you said, it's really depends on the parent, but also on the kid, obviously, what you want, what you need. But
It's just working in tune with your child to see what's the best approach for them, I guess, is the general consensus. Thank you so much to our amazing panelists. Can we get a round of applause, please, for our guests? Thank you so much to More Than Equal as well for facilitating this. Drivers, I really hope that you learned so much information from this session, and parents as well. Thank you for being here. So much insight from this panel. Even I'm taking things away that I'll take back to the gym and things like that. Do a little bit of racing, not as much as these guys. I hope that's given you more insight into the More Than Equal Driver Development Programme. Thank you.